I've got some headline news for you, buried by the liberal media, but I found it shocking. Women have recently started having bowel movements. And I know all the men in this room are as shocked as I was to hear that, because although when we were children we learned everybody poops, from the mightiest of kings to the lowliest of servants. It's our common bond. Even the Pope poops. I call it pontificating. That's a joke you can look up later. And but one person that I never saw poop was my own mother. My brothers and my father and I lived in this house for 18 years, never witnessed a thing. My father, I heard so much detail I could have ghostwritten the memoirs of his colon. But my mother was sneaking around the house like a fecal ninja for 2 decades. I had no idea what was going on. But suddenly, I know that all women have started having bowel movements. And why do I know this? Because we are inundated with commercials about yogurt that helps ladies poop. I like to call them make-you-go-gurts. And there's a wide variety of them. And there's Dan Active, there's Benefiber, there's Yoplait Plus, and of course the king of them all, Activia yogurt. Now, Activia, if you go to the website, it says that Activia aids in digestion transit, which I think is a... Well, I'm not making that up. I think that's a lovely euphemism. And, but Activia contains the active culture Bifidus regularis, which corrects irregular biffiding, I suppose. And these commercials are fantastic. So for the commercials, they've hired the world's most famous alleged hermaphrodite, Jamie Lee Curtis, in a genius move, because that way it bridges the difference between the sexes on the issue. And they sit her on this big plush green couch. Now, personally, if I were the director of this commercial, I wouldn't be thinking couch, I'd be thinking stool. Yeah. That one was for me. And so she sits on the couch, and she's next to the everyday woman. And let's say her name is Becky. And she taps her on the leg, and she says, "Becky, tell us your story." As though Becky, like, helped move people through the Underground Railroad. Whereas in actuality, according to these commercials, Becky's Underground Railroad hasn't pulled a train out of the station in over a week. But anyway, she says that she discovered the Activia yogurt in her mom's fridge, and she decided to try it out. And Jamie says, how does it work? And she's like, well, I was experiencing some irregularity. And she hunches over like Helen Thomas at a press conference. She's like, ooh. And she's like, after the Activia? And then they cut to the computer-generated model of what Activia does for you. Apparently, your digestive tract looks like a Busby Berkeley musical. It's filled with green dots that march around aimlessly like this. And Activia comes in as a choreographer and it goes, "Okay, people, okay." And it lines the dots up in a downward-facing arrow. Then it lights them up like a Broadway marquee. And the arrow starts moving purposefully downward like a nuclear warhead in countdown sequence. And ladies, let me tell you, if that missile is launching, you better find a Nagasaki, because you're about to drop an A-bomb, an Activia bomb, if you will. It's gonna wipe some people out. But then when they come back from the demonstration, the woman is of course stretching like this. Like she's 3 pounds lighter. And she and Jamie intently eat the yogurt, smiling at one another like it's a bit of a poo-a-side pact. They're like, oh. They're like, after this, we're gonna hold hands, like Sisterhood of the Traveling Poops, and we'll just be there together, love in our Activia. And that's basically the end of the commercial. But the question is, where did this come from? What is this sudden need that women have about this? And I'm going to trace it all back to the economy. Because frankly, if the Dow can drop 50 in a day and you can't drop 1 in 2 weeks, there's a bit of a problem on your hands. And because there's a lot of dialogue that's going on that's reminiscent of this issue. So I'd like to explain the economic slowdown for you using air quotes so you understand my message, okay? So banks ate a lot of bad mortgages, and now they have toxic assets that are blocking up the system. So as a result, the credit markets have frozen because of a lack of liquidity, causing a painful credit crunch for the average American. So the government has elected to use a large stimulus package to unclog the system and get the market moving again. And that's, what is Main Street in that metaphor? That's the question. Thank you. Thank you. I wrote that down on an index card. And, but so these women are really, they're doing it as a patriotic act for their country. Jamie Lee Curtis is like the new Rosie the Riveter. She's like, we can poo it with a roll of toilet paper or Activia. And they're like, this is a service for their country. And let me tell you, if patriotism is pooping, my father is a 5-star general. Because, I kid you not, he worked for the Federal Reserve Bank as a bank regulator for 30 years. Ensuring regulation at all levels. And whenever we would go on a tour of the building, he would always take us to the men's room. And he would, because this was his favorite part of the building, and he'd say, Jess, these toilets can suck a man down. And I was like, at the time I was embarrassed, but now I just realized he was a brilliant economist trying to speak to me about the impending crisis. Other generals that might be useful in our current crisis, General Cao of the Chinese chicken fame. Anyone ever eaten General Cao? I have done no research on him, but according to his effects upon me, he was an expert in the surprise attack. And did a combination of land and sea battle that was very aggressive. He would be a good spokesman for Activia, but the best general of all to be a spokesman for Activia is, I think, Colin Powell. Don't get ahead of me. Because I can, he speaks to all markets, black, white, Republican, Democrat. He's an independent, and I can see him in the commercial eating the yogurt, and he goes, ladies, give your colon the Powell it needs. All right, everyone, thanks so much. Jess Burkle, bye.